Google's first laptop goes on sale across the world today, called a Chromebook. It was due last year. The question is, with tablets now the hot product, is the idea pretty much, well, already out of date? Rather than running most of its features from the hard drive, it revolves around the concept of cloud computing. Your email will be done via the web, and you can store files and photos on sites like Flickr and Dropbox. All this means the PC should start up quickly, but you'll need to be online for it to work. That's the key point. Google won't make them. It's Samsung Electronics and Acer that'll build the first models, which are expected to sell for prices starting at $430. Want to get more in this now from a man with more than 20 years' experience working in IT service management. David McLeman is a leading partner for Google in the UK, and he's the founding and managing director of Ancoris, a provider of cloud computing. David's also chairman of Cloud Skills, a consultancy that helps companies switch to Google's cloud computing platform. To top it off, he sits on Google's Partner Advisory Board for Europe, and I'm pleased to say he's in the studio with me now. David, good to see you.
Good.
Thanks for coming in. Okay, so the Google Chrome is here. It seems to revolve very much around this idea of search, which is essentially Google's backbone by simplifying search requests. Is that right? What are the other innovations that we need to be aware of?
I think the significance of the Chromebook is it's really part of this overall move to cloud computing, and really over the last 10 years we've stopped running applications on the PC. We've been accessing applications through the browser. As we now start to move to using applications which are actually hosted by providers on the internet, why do we need a complex PC anymore? So the Chromebook is just one of a number of devices, which includes the smartphone and the tablet. It really complements those to provide different means for people to access their applications which are online. So it's really about application access and cloud computing as much as it is about search.
Okay, and on this issue of applications, I mean, many people say native applications, that is applications running on the desktop, are still much more powerful than browser-based applications. So what do you think about that?
I think it's true, and I think we are on a journey, but I think there's also new capabilities that are brought out. In our business, we're very much involved with helping organisations transition from traditional applications like Microsoft Exchange or Outlook running on the desktop to Google Apps for Business. And what that brings with it is maybe simpler applications, but simpler doesn't always mean worse, but it does mean the ability to collaborate in real time. So rather than having a world where we have data that just only belongs to us, you have that version of what Microsoft Word document on your desktop and only you can access it. Now we can all share real-time, simultaneous access to that document through someone on a Chromebook, someone on a traditional PC, someone on a smartphone, or someone on a tablet. That's a new capability, and that really encourages innovation. Okay,
but I guess the big problem, the main drawback, you might say, is the fact that you actually need to be online to run these applications, to access whatever it is that you need to look at, whether it's photos or documents. It all happens on the web, right?
Yeah.
And you're not always going to be somewhere where you're going to be connected.
I think 10 years ago that would have been a valid argument, but today, you know, with the Chromebooks will have 3G connections built in. Every building has Wi-Fi. We're not in a world where we're disconnected that often nowadays. I mean, you just have to look at how the youth are using, you know, Facebook or YouTube through a smartphone. That doesn't happen that often, and there is some offline capability in these devices as well.
Okay, but it's limited.
Well, I think the technologies are improving, and so things like HTML5, which was one of the key technologies involved, allows the applications to run within the browser. So with the Chromebook, you will have the ability to download apps that will run within the browser, will be persistent even when you're offline.
But over the past year, we've really seen a surge in tablets and smartphones, haven't we? So what do you make of the argument that Google should have done this a year ago? They're behind the curve on this one.
I think people were questioning what the role of the iPad was a year ago as well, and now we all have them. I think it's the right device at the right time. You know, the smartphone when you're on the move, on a crowded train perhaps, you know, a tablet has its place, you know, on the sofa or in a meeting. But when you want to compose a document, write a long email, you still need to have a keyboard and a screen. And so I think all three have their place, and if you can access your own applications through any of those devices, then I think you're in a good shape. Okay,
so a potentially significant step on the road to cloud computing, you say, but Google, the main challenge, you might say, that Google is facing seems to be coming from social media, the threat posed by Facebook, and this new innovation, this new piece of technology doesn't address that, does it?
Well, again, it's going to provide, in the consumer space, it's going to provide a good platform for people to access Facebook. If you're accessing Facebook, why do you need a complex PC to run it? Certainly in the business space, I think we see it as creating a very different model where for IT managers, you're going to have a dramatically reduced cost of ownership of the desktop. Why are you supporting a complex PC that needs patching and upgrades and is insecure, has antivirus, when you can go to a simpler device? That's, I think, is a
benefits. Businesses could benefit, I should say, from
Absolutely.
lower costs. Okay, good to talk to you. Thanks very much, and you've come in, David McLeman, Managing Director of and partner of Ancoris.